Hello everybody, welcome back to Blues Focus TV for another full-time match reaction video. Today we took on Cardiff City at the Cardiff City Stadium and sadly came away with a 1-0 defeat. Really disappointed about today's game, to be honest. Didn't play well at all. Came into it feeling very confident. We drew to Norwich 2-2 midweek. Sadly lost on pens, but showed real character to get 2 goals to come back into the game. Beat Huddersfield the weekend before that to win 2-1. And obviously before that drew against Luton Town 0-0 away from home. So we'd started the season really positively. And Cardiff were coming off the back of a few poor results. Obviously lost 3-0 to Pompey midweek. And then lost against Reading 2-1 the weekend before after going 1-0 up. So we were certainly the team on the up coming into today's game. Certainly expected us to perform better than we did. And certainly expected us to come away with at least a point today. And it's a shame we didn't come away with anything. Given credit where credit's due, Cardiff did look good. They've made about 15 signings this window. They've completely revamped their team. And they certainly look like a different Cardiff side compared to what we saw last season. Certainly strengthened in many positions. And they look a different team, to be honest. Despite their loss to Reading last weekend, I think they'll have a very good season. Certainly first half. Despite us being really, really poor first half, I did think they looked good. They kept the ball well. They held their shape well. They were difficult to break down. They were difficult to break down throughout the whole game, to be honest. They've really strengthened in their defensive positions. But certainly a poor blue side did make Cardiff look very, very good today. Thought we made so many mistakes, especially in the first half. Not clear and obvious mistakes, not, costly mistakes, but just small mistakes, constantly giving away the ball in the middle of the pitch. Poor stray passes. Players being out of position at times. It was just a really poor performance, particularly first half. There were so many frustrating moments watching in those stands where it was just aggravating. It was genuinely a painful watch. I don't like to pick out players, but there are a few players today that I was pretty disappointed with given their starts to the season. I thought Colin looked pretty poor on the right-hand side. I could say he was at fault for first goal because he wasn't marking his man at the back post. But I think there were a few areas in the lead up to that goal that would have allowed that goal to be prevented. But Colin wasn't the only poor player today. I thought he looked better when he moved to centre-half for the last 20 minutes of the game. Disappointing not to have Graham on the bench. I assume he's injured. I'm not too sure, but I think he would have been a solid option to come onto the pitch today. But hey-ho, what can you do? Josh Williams came on actually second half in Colin's position. And he certainly looked an upgrade on Colin. He brought the ball forward very well. Got some good crosses into the box, which we were certainly lacking on that right-hand side in the first half. So when Josh Williams came on, he looked good. Weak performance from Colin today, though. I don't often say that about him. I've always been a big fan of Colin. Think he's a solid right back or right wing back, but not his best game today. As brilliant as Bakun has been at the start of this season, he wasn't great today, giving the ball away quite cheaply in the midfield, not showing a lot of strength, got bodied off the ball quite a few times today. But I'm speaking about these players, I guess because I expect a bit more of them there. They are very talented players. I think on paper we've actually got quite a good team. And given their start to the season, you want that to continue. But today, for whatever reason, it didn't just happen. Thought Dukey looked better when he came on for Deeney. I love Troy Deeney, but he just seems pretty static up front, to be honest. Obviously, the service isn't there. The service we provide to Deeney isn't great, but he just seems to have a bit of a lack of movement. Doesn't offer a lot. He seems quite clunky on the ball. So hopefully he can, I think for Troy it'd be brilliant if he can get his first goal this season. I think hopefully once that happens the floodgates will open. But I think Dukey, every time he's come on for Troy this season, just seems to offer a little bit more. Not much more, but I think Dukey in the air, the last 10 minutes when he came on, we were just pelting the ball up to Dukey and he was able to get the ball down and head it on to players a lot more than Troy was today. For our standout player, certainly was Poeta today. Got beaten quite easily for the goal, I'd say. Which was a bit disappointing, but aside from that, I thought he looked good. He seems to be our only player that's able to bring the ball from defence to attack. I feel in the midfield sometimes, we had a midfield of James Bakuna and Alfie Chang today, and I feel a lot of the time we struggle to bring the ball from defence to attack, and I think that's sometimes down to the midfield, not necessarily offering options in the middle of the pitch. But Poeta is certainly that player who could knock the ball out too wide at left wing back and due to his speed and skill and ability to dribble the ball, he's able to transition us from defence to attack very quickly. So a lot of the time, more towards the start of the end of the first half and start of the second half, Pochetta was able to really get us higher up the pitch, which is something I think Bakuna, James and Chang weren't able to do today. So it was really useful having him to allow us to transition into the final third. Finishing today, I think we had one shot on target. So as I said, Deeney didn't have the best performance, and one shot on target as a team. You can't just blame Deeney. We've got Hogan, we've got Chang, we've got James, we've got Bakuna. We had a very attacking front five, if that's what you want to call it today. Obviously Ryan Woods wasn't playing. I don't know if that's because of the rumoured move to Hull. I assume it is. I do feel we were missing that defensive midfield option in the centre of the pitch. Alfie Chang didn't play bad today, but he was quite quiet. He wasn't much of a presence, whereas Ryan Woods, although he hasn't been great this season so far for Blues, it is nice to have that slightly more defensive midfielder who will sit back and win the ball for Blues when needed. So disappointing today. I've got one standout player as well as Pochetta. I thought John Ruddy. I mean, if you watch the game, you'll know how many saves he made. Made a fantastic one-on-one save towards the end of the first half. A few smaller saves here and there as well. It could have been 4 or 5-0 without Ruddy today, to be honest, and I'm really glad he's really kicked off with a good start at Blues. Obviously made that mistake in pre-season, and after that you just don't know how it's going to knock a goalkeeper's confidence, but he's an experienced player, obviously, and he's really come out shining at the start of the season for Blues. So we've got 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss so far, and obviously knocked out the cup. Don't really know what to make of that in the first 4 games. I think overall performances have been good, excluding today. I think overall we've played decent. I think we're 10th in the league, so 4 points from a possible 9. Not a bad start. I think if someone offered me that at the start of the season, I certainly would have taken it. Obviously lots of room for improvement. We've still got a good 3 weeks left of the transfer window, so maybe an opportunity to get a few more players through the door. Obviously got Christian Bielik still to play, still to come into that midfield or defence, which I'm really excited to see. But we'll have to see how these next few games go. Obviously, we've got Watford midweek on Tuesday, going to be a very tough one. Obviously, beat Burnley Friday night 1-0, so they've gotten off to a very, very good start to the season. And obviously, Wigan the following Saturday, again at St Andrews. So we'll have to see what we do. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep right on.